Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Porter. Got a dimmer switch here. It does work, but the knob is kind of messed up. You could replace the knob, but the customer wants it does work, but the customer wants a different type of switch put in there. They want one of these kind of toggle slash dimmable switches with a little lever on the side that slides up and down. So I'm gonna take that out and see what we got going on in there and try to show you guys what I'm looking at so you guys get an idea of what's going on. Probably give you the best view, which is probably right here. Um, See how that looks? I turned on my trusty work light because I don't want to be working in the dark. So put my little, here we go. I will move this over. All right. There you go. See that? Not bad at all. I don't know how that looks on the camera. Well, it doesn't look too good on the camera because you can't see much. But if I move it, like there, maybe you can see what I'm doing. First things first, we take off the knob. Second, we'll take off the plate. It does say disconnect the power, but I tend not to unless I really have to. That means I have to go downstairs in the basement, try to figure out which switch it is, which switch is not. I have to cut off that wallpaper a little bit. I guess I could trim that back a tad. As long as it's not over the thing. Two flathead screws. Got these two flathead screws here. We'll try to see what we got here. Which is kind of weird. But let's see what we get. Pull it out. You can see some wires in there. Let's see what we got. A wire kind of tucked around another wire. Pull these out so you can see them. There we go. When I disconnect these, I wonder if I should use these as terminals for that. This one doesn't have terminals, so I wonder if I should splice off of this and onto there, or should I just go straight off of there? I guess I could do that. Take these off. That way you get something onto here to there. Let's see how these look first. Let's see how these wires look when you take these off. Lose some power once I take this off. Okay. See how this one looks. This is not long enough to. You're supposed to have 6 inches of wire in the box. And because I don't have that much wire, I think I'm going to snip off of these and just pigtail back onto this. Yeah, Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do, because if these wires are not long enough, typically you want to have 6 to 8 inches of wire coming out the box. It gives you enough room to work with your fixture. Because I don't see that much wire here, I got a very limited wire between the box and the wall. I don't want to make it any shorter than I have to, so I'm gonna splice off the ends of this, since this is no good anyway. I'll splice it off as, close as possible, maybe right. Let's say right there. It's enough to give me some wiggle room. Snip the other one off. All I'm doing is just snipping these off. These are going to become my connectors. Give myself enough. Maybe I should get enough wire too. So this wire is kind of frayed. I might have to resplice that. Let's see. This is stranded wire, so if you lose a couple of strands, it's not too good. Let's see what we got here. This one's not too bad. Alright, let's work with this. I'm going to skin back a little bit of this wire to make my loops. I'm going to just get a pinch about just pull it off like that. And what you do is, because you got a needle nose, you can make your loop a lot easier. Just like that. Kind of like your horseshoe loop. And that loop is just enough to fit around that screw clockwise. Just like that. Look at your screwdriver and just tighten it up nice and tight. The reason why you put it clockwise is so when you tighten the wire, it goes around the screw. So in this situation, it doesn't matter. We're using the copper and one of the brass. So it tells us to use these two at the bottom, because it's just controlling the light from one location. In the event that we were controlling from 2 different locations, this now becomes a 3-way switch. We'll be using this as one of our travelers. So these two become the travelers, this will become the common. The different color screw is always the common. So whenever you see a brass screw, and you see a copper screw, or if you see 2 brass and 1 copper, the copper becomes your common. If you see a black screw and 2 copper, then the black screw is your common. So that's kind of, so here we go again. We just stripped it off. Get that little loop we're gonna make. And I got different ways of making my loops. Sometimes I go like this, and then I pinch it back and I go again. Sometimes I try to go one whole loop. But the ultimate goal is you want your loop to look something like that. Enough to go around the screw. And I'm probably not directly in front of the camera, so I should be in front of the camera, like somewhere here. If this video doesn't come out that great, I'll probably do another one. It's only looking this way because I am in the dark, so using one straight across. See if I can shift my wire up and around if I can. And let me get in the right way. I think that's in there. Yeah, here we go. Just tighten the screw up. Always put the wire around the screw clockwise. Very important. Always put them clockwise. Now, and just so you guys know, the power is still on, and all that is separation between 2 wires. So if I tap these two wires together, the lights come on. So if I do this, lights come on. Take them off. That's all your switch is doing. Your switch is just interrupting the two wires. The thing is, you can touch these wires. No, nothing happens to you. You just can't be grounded when you touch the wires. Or you don't want to be touching the wires with two hands like this. So you can touch the wires with one hand. Never a problem. Never a problem. One time it will be a problem if you do this. I had a teacher that used to take his fingers and put them across the ground and positive just to test for voltage. Because you get a little buzz, but it's not enough to. It depends on your tolerance too. If you don't have a good tolerance, then you won't like that feeling. It's not a good feeling, so don't get in the practice of doing it because it's not something you want to feel all your life. Some people are so used to it now they doesn't even faze them. So just kind of give you a little food for thought for that one. Yeah, just gonna put this around and run this. Obviously, this is you don't see any wire coming out the bottom of that screw cap. If you see any wire coming out the bottom, then you didn't do a good job. Some people like to wrap it with a little electrical tape just to be safe. It's all a matter of preference. You can't hurt to put a little electrical tape on there, and it can't hurt at all. And I'm trying to do it where I can see you're supposed to twist these before you turn them, so one stranded and one solid, so it's not an easy combination. Okay, so we got the two wire nuts on. Let's see if this switch turns on. It did turn on. So we can brighten it up. There we go, it brightens up. So that looks like we have that. This has a ground terminal. We don't really have a ground wire. We could ground it to the box back there. There is a screw in the very back of the box where I can, if I loosen this up enough, I think I can get my little, I got to build a little shepherd's hook here and get it around that screw. Tighten it up on the box. Let's see if we can do it. There's typically no ground on this particular box. This box may not even be grounded because it's the old system. So this may just be not even working properly from the beginning because I don't think we actually have a ground. Just keep in mind, this is the old Romex. And this old Romex I can't even call it Romex because it doesn't carry a ground in there. So we can't even rely on that ground to be a ground unless we physically test it for a ground. And when I looked in the box, it's just cloth cable. So cloth cable don't have a ground. So that kind of defeats our purpose of trying to ground it. But at least we tried. Kind of gently push these wires in. So you can get these in there nice and nice. And thing back over here. See what we got here. The hardest part is lining up pushing the wires in to line up the screws. So let's see what we got here. You don't want to rush. You want to take your time. Get that ground wire out of the way. Okay. That's the first. That one's in there. Hardest part is that you see in the hole. I think that's the screw hole right there. Yep, missed it. I should have cut more wallpaper out of the way. I believe it's right there. Okay. It looks like we have completed. Just tighten these up. Kind of, I like to alternate a little bit just to make sure I get a nice even pull into the box. Try to be gentle on the wires, don't be too rough. Could force them in and pinch them on the metal, so that's pretty. Maybe slide this over a little bit so it's not. Yeah, I guess. Do I need to slide that? Maybe. Let's see. See how that looks. Looks like our job is done. We're gonna. I think they had different. Well, we'll put this wall plate on for the time being. I think the customer has a newer wall plate they want to add on, but for safety reasons, we're going to put this one on for now. And then when they have the newer wall plate, we'll switch it out. Always want to put a plate. Always want to put a plate over the covers, over the outlets or devices, whatever you want to call them. These are technically outlets. You can call them devices. Typically it's a switch. They got outlets and they got receptacles. These are called outlets. Receptacles are the plugs that you actually plug into. You plug plugs into. So you got your switch, you get your dimmer. Hope that I hope you guys were able to see what I was doing. If not, I'll do another one, but I will post this one. Catch you guys on the next one.